We live, baby.
Live, ready for the inaugural.
Yes, sir.
Ready for the first take?
This ain't the first take, though. They didn't pay it.
Huh?
They didn't pay for us to say that.
Nah, you motherfucker. I mean in like regular terms. You ready for the first, snap? You ready for the first take?
No free ads.
I'm weak. All right, here we go. Cleveland's biggest diehards. Take one.
Let's go.
Welcome one and all to Cleveland's Biggest Diehards, the podcast for diehard Cleveland professional sports fans. I am Joe Stoner. Here with me is my guy with all the takes, James.
What's good with it?
And our producer who makes all this shit possible, Jeff.
What's happening?
And this is the inaugural episode of Cleveland's Biggest Diehards, the podcast for diehard Cleveland professional sports fans. We are here to share what we feel like is the true feeling of real Cleveland professional sports fans, because we feel like the land is represented terribly in the national media, and we know real Cleveland sports fans will agree with that. Like you've heard for like the last 6 sentences, this podcast is all about Cleveland, and we want to be the fans that unite all the real fans to let the world and the internet know that Northeast Ohio is great. We're talking Browns. We're talking Cavs. We're talking Guardians baseball. We're going to be the fans on the internet that are the backbone of our sports teams here in Cleveland and Northeast Ohio. No more will you have national big journalists shit all over our region without a punch being thrown back. No more will true Cleveland sports fans not have clips to throw in the face of Twitter casual troll accounts. We will always have your back unless you give us a reason not to. So with that being said, gentlemen, where shall we begin on this inaugural episode of Cleveland's Biggest Diehards, the podcast for diehard Cleveland professional sports fans? Do we want to start in Berea with the Cleveland Browns and what needs to happen in the offseason or what didn't happen last season? Or do we start with the Cavs trying to stay strong in the East and what happened in Detroit, which was some bullshit on the call that Kay Cunningham got on Isaac Okoro, which resulted in the Detroit Pistons taking the lead and winning the game?
So, I'm just going to go with what I'm seeing first on my laptop.
Okay.
It's on ESPN. You know, they picked a player on all 32 teams who needs a new home.
Okay.
Don't tell me.
The covered juice.
No, why'd they put him on the cover?
He's on the fucking cover of it?
Look at it. Look at it.
They put him on the cover out of all 32, out of one player from
players.
all 32 teams. I got to pick the guy from the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Man, this can't
It's NFL players who need a change of scenery this offseason, including Jarvis, Jimmy G, and Zadarius Smith.
Why would Jarvis Landry need a change of scenery? It's more so that Baker Mayfield wasn't healthy.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
He's been here for a couple of years and ain't seen the success he wants.
Well, he had what? He had 1 or 2 touchdowns last year, Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, it was low.
Probably
he had
2.
injuries.
I mean, they all had injuries. All that's screaming about this Browns team is lack of depth. What did you told me earlier, James? You told me about the training staff stuff. What was all that talk? What were they?
Oh yeah, John Johnson was saying that the training staff aren't really utilizing like calisthenics and like more so focusing on like joints and muscle groups, and they're pretty much just rushing the players, getting them back on the field healthy, just because we got nobody.
That seems like the way of the league right now, though. Like Antonio Brown and the Buccaneers, that whole shit that went down.
I don't know.
Well, it just goes to show like when players specifically on our defense that come back with specific injuries, they end up re-injuring what took them out a few weeks before. And with that being said by John Johnson, explains a lot, to be honest with you.
I mean, the thing with AB and all that, I mean, he posted x-rays and stuff, and it turns out, like, those x-rays were taken in October. Like,
But, I mean, if a guy's telling you that he's not ready to play, he's not ready to play.
I guess
You can't force somebody to play.
But when you say that and you have the merit of somebody like Antonio Brown, you know, like everyone's word is only as good as how much they've kept to it. So that would be, I don't know. I just wouldn't trust it. If a guy like John Johnson or Jarvis Landry tell me they're unhappy, and you know Jarvis was like, yeah, he pushed through some injuries, and he said he got rushed on the field quicker than he should have.
Right.
That says a lot about the training staff in Berea, especially letting them play Baker Mayfield.
I was just about to say, if they're letting Baker Mayfield play, then there's something wrong with the fucking training staff.
Well, wouldn't that be a red flag or an alarm to someone like Andrew Berry to take these complaints into account and say, hey, we need to do something?
Should.
You'd hope.
If you look at the way other organizations are done, like I'm sure they're doing that stuff in LA. I'm sure they're doing the calisthenics. I'm sure they're getting all that yoga treatment. I mean, it's LA. It's California. Of course
Right.
they're probably doing that
Exactly.
stuff. But you need to have that. Like Aaron Rodgers has been saying it every Tuesday on McAfee this season about how much you need to take care of the body in natural ways. Sure, it may be some outrageous. Sure, it may be some outrageous stuff.
Start
but,
shoving butter up our ass.
but has a good point on you have to make sure you stay in tip-top shape. And sometimes it's not the old traditional way of doing things.
No, it's not. And I mean, look at LeBron. He spends like $2 million a year on his body.
On his body.
For
Yeah.
treatment
And there's a
stuff.
reason.
There's a reason.
There's
Yeah.
a reason for
Tom
that.
Brady.
Steroids aren't cheap.
There's a
There's
reason
a
for
reason
that.
he played so many years he did.
Well, I did. We were talking Baker and injuries. I've been doing breakdowns on the Browns season. Like I've been going back and rewatching highlights just to like relive the nightmare that ended
The
up happening.
agony.
But like I watched the Kansas City Chiefs highlights, and if you watched that game, that was the only game you watched, the very first game you watched, and you watched it up to halftime, you would have thought that the Cleveland Browns won that game by 30. Just
would've thought.
how efficient everything looked, how Kareem Hunt is a weapon. I forgot
Who you
how
telling?
I forgot because of injuries and how
Yeah.
bad the Browns season ended up being, how big of a weapon he really is.
Yeah.
He ended up being the number one back when we had everything rolling at the beginning when we were still in
Yeah.
it. They had him in a lot of packages, and I didn't really realize that until I went back and started watching. But some notes I have was
Yeah, people forget Nick Chubb was out to what, week 5?
he was out for a few weeks. But I have a few notes. I had the first drive of football was all capital letters perfection, because it was. All cylinders go. We had the first drive of football, and we fucking clicked and went down, and we
Right.
got 8. We got 8 points.
Yep.
Went for 2 and got it. Baker throws bullets like darts. Like, motherfucker, when he throws the football, that...
Through.
Dude, I still think he can come back and do it.
Oh, yeah, when he's healthy.
There was a ball he threw. It like looked like a wounded duck going up, and then it came down like a missile, like right into homie's
Right
hands.
where it
Dude,
was.
I couldn't believe it.
As my Uncle Paul would say, right in the breadbasket.
If defense would have held Kansas City to 3, if not for Patrick Mahomes being Patrick Mahomes, because there was a lot of times where Cleveland should have sacked him on these third down plays. And that was another thing. I don't know if I have it on this one or later on, but third down was the Browns' enemy all season.
And fourth.
All season.
And
No,
first,
like
and second.
And second.
no, they were good. They were good on first and second down. If you look at early on where they were getting killed, it was like 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7. It's like in those situations, those long third downs where you have a front
First
7
and
the way
10,
they
second
have,
and 3.
you can't let that happen.
I mean, I get it. I just, I don't know. I don't know where I'm at with Baker Mayfield right now. It's
kind of up in the air.
it's a love-hate relationship, and honestly, I think I'm more towards the hating side of it for the sheer fact.
Really, the hating side of it.
I just
You want
think-
him gone. You want an upgrade.
I don't even necessarily want an upgrade.
You're
I want-
Andrew Berry right now this offseason. What do you do?
I do everything in my power to get Russell Wilson.
Really? Russell Wilson?
Absolutely. Why?
Why?
Because the most important thing right now is getting the city of Cleveland a Super Bowl and not building a dynasty. Because the way this league works,
What'd you say?
I said I agree. I agree. I was
But
letting him talk.
the way
I
this
thought you said motherfucker.
the way this league works, man, it's win now. I mean, not the last time there was a team that was a dynasty was the Patriots, but no team is going to have that run ever again.
But does Russell Wilson get you a dynasty?
Russell Wilson gets
Because
you a
he's
Super
probably
Bowl.
signed. Yeah, I know that, but you're saying you want a dynasty.
No, I don't want a dynasty.
No, he said he didn't. No, I think what we need is competent quarterback play.
You want a one and done?
I mean, look what the Rams are doing.
I just want a veteran quarterback that'll take me to the playoffs every year until he decides to kick the bucket and give Ciara another baby.
So you're on the if we can get better. I mean, I'm with you, but I also think.
I'm sorry. He said Ciara.
Hey, man.
But I also think that a healthy Baker Mayfield is what we've been looking for a very long time. I'm telling you, rewatching these highlights and just watching. But I also believe, because I'm not to the point where Baker's arm is really starting to bother him. Like, this is early injury. He's still, like, not being hit really hard yet. I mean, he's still taking hits, but he's not taking the hits.
I mean, yeah, everything you've listed was from week 1.
Well, yeah. But I'm saying as I go further on, like, after the injury, even in week 3 against Chicago, he was still throwing bullets. His passes were soaring a little higher than what they were the previous 2 weeks, but he still had that electricity, and he was just getting beaten down all year. And I think he brought that upon himself.
Yeah, because he holds on to the ball for too long, and he's too scared to throw it deep.
I've been asking this question to the two of you for the last week is, what was wrong with Case Keenum? Because if you're paying the guy, I don't know how much we were paying him. What is it, $10.5 million?
Something 10 to 13
for 2 years.
Yeah.
For a situation like this, why?
That's what your backup quarterback's for.
Especially a guy like Case Keenum, who could have started somewhere like Houston or Jacksonville.
Yeah, he could
2 years ago. I'm baffled why Kevin Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns kept letting Baker Mayfield go out there. Was he really a better option? Did he really help the team more? We obviously saw against the Ravens in Sunday Night Football, and then the next week against the Green Bay Packers, that he wasn't the best option to win. The defense held the Green Bay Packers to 3 points in the second half, and Baker Mayfield threw, 2 more interceptions in that second half?
Yeah.
After throwing the 3, or did he have 4 total? I forget. Either way, anybody that holds Aaron Rodgers to 3 points in the second half wins the football game. Yeah. Anybody that intercepts Lamar Jackson 4 times and then holds that team to basically stagnant offense the whole night wins against the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday Night Football. Is Baker Mayfield not the real issue, and is it more Kevin Stefanski? And I know, James, Stefanski's on your hot seat entering this season.
Absolutely he is. Man, I mean, there's a reason why Jeff and I are making fun of it. I mean, he can't call a third down play to save his fucking life. Doesn't know what he's doing.
I was talking about the defense. I mean, offense, yeah. I mean, we're not. I also put that on the injured quarterback.
No, because at some point, like, Baker's just bad. Like, you can't tell me every time we're in a close game, it ends the exact same way, and that's on, like, a 3rd and long interception with, like, 30 seconds left in a game.
Well, there were times where I agree with... There were certain schemes where it's like, why is Dearness Johnson not in this package? If you're not going to use Nick Chubb, you have a next best option in Dearness Johnson, who's sort of like Nick Chubb, but can play like Kareem Hunt as well. He gets what, 7.7 or 8.3 yards per carry when he touched the ball? Like, that's insane. He's a 3rd string. He's about to have a starting job this season when he hits free agency.
I hope not.
Oh, they got to let him go. Unless they do the Kareem Hunt thing, and that's the thing. I don't want the Browns to fall into look at all this money that is coming up and that we might have to spend. Like, no, go win a Super Bowl. You see what All-Star Weekend.
Have depth.
You see what All-Star Weekend did for the city. Imagine what bringing a home playoff game does, and imagine what winning a Super Bowl does. You can worry about all that cap gymnastics bullshit later when you have the money because you made it.
Well, speaking of cap gymnastics, they restructured Conklin's last year.
Oh, did they? When they do that?
They did that today. They're giving him $4 million guaranteed. It's an $8 million contract, so 4 is guaranteed and 4 is incentives. So instead of 8 guaranteed, they just kind of, they got a little more wiggle room.
So you told me earlier, you said that they think that he might not play football again.
It must be looking good if they just restructure.
Well, that's good.
Right.
However,
that's good.
I don't know if he's playing this year because it was a pretty bad elbow injury.
Yeah, very bad injury. Very bad injury.
Yeah.
Well, we need to do something. I think the major keys they need to address are linebacker, because they need a voice back there and they need some sort of presence. It just seems like that they're lacking in the middle.
Yeah.
Because it's showing the secondary's not bad. No, they just need help up front to not have to do everything.
Yeah, Anthony Walker can't really stop the run.
Sione Takitaki should be a Brown for life. I'm saying that into the camera. Sione Takitaki should be a Cleveland Brown for life. That dude is one of the great linebackers I've ever seen play. And you heard it here first. Oh, no, Jeremiah, that's without being said. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is going to be one of the greatest defenders. We could go down as having one of the best defenses since the 85 Bears.
Yeah.
If they put it together.
That guy is special.
That's a take.
They have Myles Garrett. If they re-sign Jadeveon Clowney, they have him. They have Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who when healthy could tackle he could have a tackle every play. They have Sione Takitaki, who's an eater. Denzel Ward, who's nicknamed the Warden. Greg Newsome, who was coming into his own at the end of the season. He was only a rookie. John Johnson, who when healthy is one of the best safeties in the league.
Puppy.
That's a take.
He gets hurt a lot.
Well, I mean, it's Cleveland, bro. He's playing in L.A. You got to get used to playing outside in the cold.
In the gritty.
I mean, that's why I like that Troy Hill's from Youngstown. Like, he gets it. He knows.
I just think we're so close, and everybody wants to jump off the wagon. And it's like, no. Everybody settled down, which is why this podcast is starting. It's like, no, we are not as bad or as terrible as the media is making it look out to be. No, we were the team that everybody said just an August ago could be in the Super Bowl. So let's pump the brakes.
That's what I'm saying. Let them jump off the wagon. We don't need the bandwagon.
No, we don't need the bandwagon fans. But I'm hearing a lot of people start to say, well, I think it's going to be the same old Browns again. No.
Hey, we didn't go 0-16, so how the fuck can you be mad?
And Stefan, and 8-9, but 8-9 is not bad given the circumstances.
We were happy to get 3 wins, man.
I'm with y'all. I grew up through them days too. We all did. I just don't think we are going to fall off as bad as people think we are. Like they're having us finish next to the Steelers in the basement of the division next year. Like no way are we gonna finish as bad as the Steelers. If they're gonna have Mason bonk your head Rudolph play quarterback.
Well, here's the thing: the basement of our division is the ceiling of like everyone else in the league. So,
but it's so hard. It's so hard. It's the hardest division. Well, I won't even.
Look
it's
at the
one
Super
of the
Bowl.
hardest.
The Super Bowl was the best division in the NFC versus the best division in the AFC. Yeah. That's how it ended up.
And that's all we need. It's what people don't understand is once you get to the playoffs, you have to have a team that's built for the playoffs, which means we have to add depth. If we want to really make an impact, we have to add those types of guys, like keeping Malcolm Smith, like adding a solid dude underneath him. So when we have to sub out and we have to do that, we can hold. We can hold as we got our starters in. You know what I mean? That's what championship teams are built off of, and we don't have that. Right. We don't have that yet, and because of this training staff story, it makes me believe it even more. We have no depth, 0 depth, and I'll still ask it again. What the fuck was wrong with Case Keenum?
Yeah. See, but that's the thing. We got, like we were just talking about the defense. We got the defense built to win a championship, but we need the offense to fucking score a goddamn point. Like, our defense played great this year.
And that brings us back to Jane. Like, it seems like it's a dysfunctional mess, but it just seems like there's just miscommunication somewhere along the pipeline where, like, we were clicking in 2020. Like, what happened with that?
Right.
Did we lose? Well,
I feel like if we lose Jarvis, we lost whatever happened in 2020. Because I feel like that was a lot.
I mean, that's heart and soul, man. That's
built,
heart and soul.
Built on a culture he was trying to start here.
Starting this podcast, we're going to talk about it a lot more. Being the inaugural episode, we can't really get too into it, but I'm going to keep deep diving. We can go through later on during this, and we can deep dive through the season when there's really nothing to talk about, and just because it's the first episode.
Yeah, no, definitely, because we can only you can only beat the Baker thing, and that's going to happen.
It's like beating a dead horse. So.
Well, this is the first episode. They don't know that we've been beating a dead horse. But we're going into the off season. We're going into exciting times.
Rest in peace, Madonna Spirit.
Oh yeah, that's terrible. Did you hear about that?
About what? Wait,
Medina
what?
Spirit.
Medina.
Yeah, who won the Kentucky Derby?
He was the horse that was on steroids. Yeah. And they took the title away from it. The Bob Baffert stuff.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they took it away from him before that happened.
Yeah, no, they waited. They waited to strip it until it was dead.
You ain't using a steroid pump. fucking horse.
Why not, man? Let every athlete play at their best level.
Nah, you gotta train on the same.
Nah, man, that's what made baseball great.
That's what people will be saying.
Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa.
Look at Darryl Strawberry was
Barry
getting
Bonds.
his dick sucked in the dugout before he went up to bat.
Daryl Strawberry, man, that cat was doing amphetamines. He
He
said
literally had hookers in the clubhouse for between innings.
It was a different league back then.
Daryl Strawberry said he'd do amphetamines and the baseball would look this big, like a 97 mile an hour fastball,
tripping,
bro,
smoking cigars,
hitting bombs to fucking left and right field, dude, every night for the New York Mets in the 80s. That's a great 30 for 30. You watch that? Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
That's a great 30 for 30 to watch. The Tuck Rule. You watch the Tuck Rule?
I did not watch the Tuck Rule.
Tuck Rule is great because Brady and Woodson argue about it. Like, they get to it, they watch the whole game together.
Yeah.
And then they get to the Tuck Rule, and finally Charles is like, you got a football? Like, we're going to talk about this. Like, this is what I think. And, like, for 4-5 minutes, Brady and Charles argued about whether or not it was a fumble or not. It was one of the better 30 for 30s because it changed the game. It literally...
What was the Tuck Rule?
So what happened was the Raiders and the Patriots were playing in the AL, look at me, the AFC divisional round.
Yeah.
The winner goes to Pittsburgh for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Fucking blizzard coming down. Raiders are trying to get the game postponed because, you know,
back then they was like
home field advantage.
Now they're quick to
home field
postpone the
advantage,
game.
brother. So they play the game in the snow under the lights. It's like Sunday Night Football. And Brady's got the ball. I think the Raiders had the lead. And the Patriots are driving to try to... Me, Jeff, and James went to a Cleveland Indians Chicago White Sox game on a weekday. It was like a Wednesday, Thursday night. This is one of my favorite memories of going to a ball game ever. I don't think I'll ever forget this. So we're in right field, which is my personal favorite place to sit. I don't know about you, James. But to be honest, they're talking about renovating Progressive Field, which it might not be called Progressive Field next year.
Are you sure about that? Because they just re-signed the lease with.
They re-signed the lease with the stadium. The stadium signed the lease.
What's it going to be called now?
I don't know. It's up. Naming rights are up.
I would love it if it was called like Caesars Sports.
I would love it if it was just called Cleveland Municipal Stadium again. But either way, we're sitting in right field, and the right fielder at the time was named Drew Stubbs.
Oh, you motherfucker. No, okay. Let me just...
Go ahead, Jay.
Guy, Drew Stubbs, I swear to God.
For all you folks young folks out there who don't know anything about Cleveland baseball before Terry Francona came into town. Well, Tito just came into town, right? This was one of the early years of Terry Francona.
I think he was there a couple of years.
Yeah, so...
Well, he's been there for a long... I think he's now the longest tenured manager on one team, but go ahead, talk about Drew Stubbs.
Yeah, I love Terry.
Oh, Tito. Oh, I told James I have a power ranking of my favorite coaches / managers of Cleveland sports. Number 1, no disrespect to Coach JB. I think Coach JB's doing a fantastic job. JB Bickerstaff is awesome for the Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll talk Cavaliers at the end here. But Terry Francona.
Tito came in 2013.
So this is about it was probably 2013, 2014. It's probably year 1, year 2 of Tito Francona. But Tito Francona's number 1.
So you want to talk about this. Tito has been with the Indians Guardians.
No black bag.
From 2013 to 2021, okay?
Yep.
I want you to take a wild guess at how many losing seasons he's had.
Boy, to be honest with you. So, are you counting 2020 and this past season against him?
Yes.
Well, he didn't
21.
He didn't manage.
He is the acting manager. All because he wasn't the manager. He doesn't get the cred like Coach K.
Well, he passed Lou Boudreau though. They didn't need because they put all those wins on his record and not Sandy's or excuse me for not remembering the gentleman's name that managed the Tribe last season. But
though all the wins and losses got credited to Tito.
Okay. So I'm gonna say, 2021 they didn't have a winning record, right?
I'm not gonna answer until you just give me a number.
How many losing? So he's been the manager from 2013 to 2021. He's probably had 3.
He's only had one.
My man, that's what I'm talking about.
And it was last year.
It was last year, and he wasn't even the manager for most of it.
Their losing season was 80 and 82.
Wow.
Their best year was 2017, 102 and 60, and that's the year we shit the bed. That wasn't the World Series. The World Series year, we only went 94 and 67.
What the year after that? The year after that was the year we went 22 or 23 straight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what fucked us in the end because that team should have won the World Series.
Yeah, it should have. But so, I mean, yeah, Tito's amazing. But let's get back to the story. So Drew Stubbs is the biggest piece of shit I've ever met. This guy, so usually the right
He's
fielder.
never met Drew Stubbs, by the way.
Usually, at the time, the right fielder for the Cleveland Indians was Sin-Soo Choo. And for some reason, I think this is when we traded Sin-Soo Choo to the Reds, or he was out for some reason. So we had Drew fucking Stubbs in right field.
Michael Bourne in center field, shout out, he was dope.
Yes. This motherfucker could not, angle a ball to save his life. He would just let it go over his head and bounce, and then he'd walk to it. And
I'd sit there going, he's talking about.
Hey, Drew, I know I'm a fat piece of shit, but at least you could show me some fucking hustle. And this went from the first inning until, the 6th or 7th inning, when Joe looks over to the dugout, and what do you see?
Well, no, here's what happened. James finally yells at Drew Stubbs in about the 6th or 7th inning. I believe it was the 7th inning. It was getting late. It was a really good game. I remember Kluber was on the mound, and Chris Sale was on the mound. We had a pitching duel that day. Or was it Ubaldo Jimenez? Either way, we had an ace.
I think it was Ubaldo.
We always have an ace. Or Justin Masterson. That's how many Cleveland aces we've had. Anyway, James finally yells at Chris Sale after he finally hot dogs another ball. And he goes, Jesus, Drew Stubbs, how many more times? Drew finally turns around and looks at this fan who turns out to be a 13-year-old James. And
of course he thought it was a man.
And James has always had this deep voice. So Drew turns around, and I apologize, I think I said Chris Sale, but yeah, Drew turns around and he looks at James, and he sees it's a kid. And he starts shaking his head before he starts saying anything. Runs to the dugout, looks at Tito, and is talking and is pointing to right field. Tito looks at right field, sees James standing up with both his arms out, going, I could play better. I shit you good people not. I really, hand up. And Jeff was there too. He can attest to it. We hear a guy come over the PA going, and now replacing right fielder Drew Stubbs, whoever the fuck it was at the time. Drew Stubbs took himself out of the game because James heckled him for 7 innings, and he didn't know it was a 13-year-old until he actually turned around to finally say something. Kudos to Drew Stubbs for keeping his head for 7 innings while you're just laying into him every time the ball is hit his way.
I found the article right here. Jason Giambi.
That was the best part.
September 24th,
let me set that up. Let me set that up. No, I don't even think it was that one. He did it against the White Sox 2 times in Cleveland. We saw the first one.
I'm pretty sure we went to it.
It was in July. No, it was in July. I remember
sure?
it vividly. Yes, I'm pretty sure. I have it saved on YouTube. So, I hated Mark Reynolds. Sorry, Mark Reynolds, if you end up hearing this, but I thought you were the worst guy in our lineup at the time.
You be nice to Mark.
And James really liked Mark Reynolds.
You watch your fucking mouth.
Mark was 0 for 4 that day, I believe. And the guy Giambi replaced when he hit that walk-off home run was Mark Reynolds.
Oh, yeah. I remember you kept just saying.
Remember I
Didn't
laughed?
He have a mustache?
He was just a bum. He was a bum, okay? But that was one of the better nights because Giambi hit that walk-off home run, and anytime there's a walk-off in Cleveland, it's fucking amazing. It always feels great. That energy in that city is just always awesome after a win, no matter who it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's always awesome.
I think... Go ahead.
Especially after the Cavs won.
Oh, yeah.
We were running through the streets with our shirts off, fucking going nuts.
I think, though, you talk about any good story you have at any sort of Cleveland game,
Everybody's got
probably going to be a tribe game that's going to start it.
Yeah, I believe so.
Because there's a different atmosphere when you walk into Jake and you look around and you get to see Legacy Village and Bob Feller out front, and you just like can feel all the greatness.
The new bar behind home plate.
Oh yeah,
that giant, the right field district. I mean,
yeah.
They've
done a great job. So the thing is, with baseball stadiums, there have been cycles of. So the Indians are technically like behind the Guardians are behind the curve of like say. So they are the newest, oldest stadium in the sense of.
Okay.
So
because they were one of the first renovations or the buildings in the 90s.
Let me speed this up.
Go ahead.
So like when you look at the Dodger Stadium, you see how like there's right behind home plate. You're at eye level with everything.
Yes.
You notice how more stadiums are kind of changing to that to get the stands lower and lower.
Yeah. Well, the
same with football.
Well, we have that. that.
No. But in the 90s, it was a thing to make the backstop really tall. That was an architecture feature.
Okay.
I don't know why, but when you watch the games, the backstop, you can barely see the people behind home plate for the Indians unless they're down in the ground.
Guardians.
Yes, sorry, my bad.
It should be like a thing where.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Thoughts and prayers. But the Guardians, thoughts and prayers.
There you go.
They
Guardians.
need to when they renovate. I think.
Shout out to you if you've listened this far.
Yeah, honestly. But yeah, no. Basically, what I'm saying is, I love Progressive Field and I love the jig.
I love Progressive Field too.
The architecture of it.
Yes, me too. Not a bad seat in the house, in my opinion.
Not a bad seat. I've seen games at multiple stadiums.
Each stadium in Cleveland, there's not a bad seat.
Well, the Q, which is now Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse is really fucking nice.
Oh,
there is not a bad seat in Rocket
did you
Mortgage
know
Fieldhouse.
Sportsbook is building a casino, not a casino, just a sportsbook inside Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
Dude, it's coming for sure. Yeah.
Dude, Dan Gilbert is actually doing something right by focusing on the business aspect and not the basketball aspect.
Great segue to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been to a
Look
few
at us
Cavs
segue
games.
kings already.
So I've been to the most Cavs games this year out of everybody.
I shout out me and you and your beautiful lady.
And I can't even watch a game because fucking I don't have Spectrum.
No, DirecTV even. Isn't it only on DirecTV or can you get it on Spectrum too?
I don't know.
Look up how we can get Bally Sports.
DirecTV. I signed in under Pops' info. And
okay,
shit.
well, yeah.
Well, I'm about to sign in.
Well, Cleveland fans are really mad about that. Yeah, let's get the Cavaliers on something we can watch.
Fucking Hulu TV, I would watch it.
So the thing is, I remember because I was talking with people at my company, and I was saying they were like, yeah, the Cavs are good and all, but they're not going to be anything good.
What?
I went
early
in the year, back in October. I went when Young Bull was still out there, and it was the night that the Hawks came to town.
Hey, heal up, Young Bull. We definitely need you. That's why we're lacking. We need guard depth.
More than ever.
We need guard depth.
So we go to the game, and we had a healthy Ricky Rubio. Thoughts and prayers.
Can't wait to have you back next season.
Dude. We locked down the Hawks and Trae Young, and Lauri Markkanen was hitting threes. Sexton was running the Lauri Markkanen. Threes.
That's how you say it.
Colin Sexton was D'ing up. Garland was a beast. So since you've never been to a game yet this year, there is nothing more electric than a Jarrett Allen alley-oop.
Oh yeah.
It is the equivalency of a Myles Garrett sack, and I also.
They call him Mr. Frohio because of his giant afro.
Yeah.
So with the atmosphere of what it is, Jarrett Allen is the Myles Garrett of the Cleveland Cavaliers. He is the heart and soul of that team. He is the face.
Yeah.
However, Darius Garland, I'd say, is probably. If we're comparing,
he's a very young player. He's a very young player who hasn't realized that I'm about to be a superstar here in this city.
We get to see what Kyrie Irving could have been in Cleveland.
No. We got to see what Kyrie Irving was in Cleveland. It's LeBron James that forced that not to be a thing anymore.
True.
Let's not play stupid here.
But my thing is DG is such a young kid. He's my age. He's actually younger than me. Bastard.
I think he was 19 when we drafted him.
He was.
Yeah.
So DG is just the nicest kid ever.
He's
just like, this team is so young and fresh.
And that's why this team doesn't need LeBron James, because this team is finding an identity themselves. They're becoming what they want to be, not what LeBron James is going to tell them to be. That's why we don't need LeBron James. Let these guys come into their own. Now that they got a dog in Karis LeVert, now that they got a point guard in Darius Garland, if we could go get CJ McCollum out of New Orleans in the offseason, we're winning the finals if we don't do it this June.
You think CJ would come home? You think he wants to play at home?
That would be dope,
I think if he realized that he would.
Fucks with home still, like.
Well, I guess he was at the boys' club during All-Star Weekend. Him and his brother went back home to see where they're pretty much where our money go. It went great. Have you been to the boys' club since the renovation? Yeah. Beautiful. It's great.
See, I went back.
They redid the court. It's a brand new court.
Wow.
I guess
what they do?
They did the weight room. They redid the weight room and everything.
I'll tell you what. You know who's about? He's not gonna be the next CJ, but he's gonna be the next Eric. Eric McCollum is my boy from Lehman, Daryl Strotter.
He passed, or he's the leading scorer in Walsh history now.
Yes, sir.
Shout out Daryl Strotter. Cam McKinley, or either he did go to Glen Oak.
Nah, man, he's a Timken Trojan.
Let's go! Shout out!
Okay, so he was the last class.
Yeah, so like whenever you ask any guy that made it big, they're like, "Where are you from, McKinley?" They're like, "Nah, Timken." Like if they went to Timken,
that's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, shout out all you Timken Trojans. Shout out all you Timken Trojans. That was bullshit. That what happened to you.
And if I misspoke, Daryl, if you were a Bulldog originally, I'm pretty sure he was because I'm pretty sure he played with.
Hey, come on the show. Come on the show, Daryl. We'll talk about it. We'll interview you. That's what we want to do with this show. We want to blow up Northeast Ohio sports. We want to show the pipeline of what this really is. I mean, just speaking professional football alone, Don Shula is from Northeast Ohio. Marion Motley is one of the integral parts in the NFL. Paul Brown. The list goes on and on.
Hold on. Paul Brown, Lou Holtz, Nick Saban,
Alan Page,
Jack Lambert,
Alan Page from Canton, Ohio, who went to the University of Notre Dame and was a part of the Purple People Eater defense of the Minnesota Vikings, who I believe ended up becoming a Supreme Court justice or a congressman, one of the two.
I mean, you want to talk about so here's the thing with Northeast Ohio. You want to talk about colleges. John Carroll and Mount Union breed the coaches. Kent State breeds the low-key athletes. Fucking Julian Edelman, Josh Cribbs, Dree Archer, James Harrison,
Antonio Gates. Antonio Gates.
Who's the wrestler? Dolph Ziggler. Fucking WWE. Yeah, he went to Kent State. Fucking Nick Saban went to Kent State. Lou Holtz went to Kent State. I mean, you got some Akron guys, which I mean, who the fuck cares?
No, come on, we're not gonna do that.
Ooh.
We're not. Oh, you're a Kent State grad. That's why he's doing that. That's why he's doing that, folks. He's a Kent State grad. But we're all for it, man. I mean, if you're doing something and you're popping off and you want to get a little steam, we'll do a little Zoom interview with you. Let's get people to understand that Cleveland and Northeast Ohio is where it's at. Not LA, not New York. You come here, you're going to be beloved. You come here, you're going to be worshipped. We're going to have your back until you give us a reason not to. Baker.
Hey, man. This is Cleveland's Biggest Diehards. By Cleveland's Biggest Diehards. By Clevelanders for Cleveland.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what we got to be, man.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I think that's
Clevelanders from Canada.
We're all Cleveland.
We're Northeast Ohio.
Here's the thing.
Northeast Ohio.
Here's the thing that really is different about Northeast Ohio. When I was going to school, there'd be kids, from Chicago, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, but they live an hour out of the city. Yeah. They're from Chicago. They live an hour. Northeast Ohio is so different because each group is so special because they have kids from Medina. They're Medina. Kids from Canton or Canton.
Youngstown,
because everybody has their
Cleveland,
own clique. And at the end of the day, we all love Cleveland sports. But
that's what brings us together.
But what runs deeper is this is a Cleveland professional sports podcast. But unlike the rest of the United States, our high school sports and our local college teams mean just as much. Yeah. Sometimes even more
100%.
Than the professional athletes. Because if you're going to go to a game, are you going to go to a bullshit Cavs game on a Friday night some nights? during football season when you could go watch the holy war between Eds and Iggy if you live in Cleveland.
Exactly.
Like which one are you gonna go? And that's not to shit on the Cavs for the past couple of years.
But that's to show you what the region that we would build up the high school rivalry like that more than if the Cavs are playing on a Friday night.
I mean, here's the number one thing. McKinley-Massillon, only high school game you can bet on the Vegas sports books.
For right now.
For right now, it's the only high school game that can be bet on legally. It's the only amateur matchup. Well, it's because the McKinley Bulldogs and the Massillon Tigers started out as professional franchises, so they were grandfathered in. Because they had been around for so long.
Already on the ticket.
Yeah, they were already on the ticket.
On the illegal books, everything that was going on.
But it's crazy that they didn't take them off. You know, that's nuts. That's crazy.
Because you could go anywhere in the United States of America, and they will recognize that god-awful, ugly-ass Tiger and fucking Diesel the Bulldog.
That's right, baby. MCKINLEYPUPS. Oh, yes. The pups are the best. Yeah, see? Alumni coming out, or alumnus, however the fuck you say it. This is Cleveland's Biggest Diehards, the podcast for diehard Cleveland professional sports fans.
Hey man, just wait. Like high school football season. Think about it though. When the Browns aren't playing, it's a bye week, and football up here. I mean, we don't rest in peace, Malone. Those games were fun to go to.
They're not playing football anymore?
They disbanded the program.
They disbanded the football program at Malone University?
You know what's funny?
I didn't know that either.
You know who went
Breaking news on this podcast, to me at least.
Oh, it's been dead for 3 years.
Been dead for 3 years?
Yeah.
What?
But you remember my buddy Steiner?
Whoa.
You remember my buddy Steiner,
is
right?
Malone, what happened?
They just cut it out of their budget.
Like that?
Yeah. He
No.
was the long snapper for my buddy Steiner.
Yeah,
He was the long snapper.
What?
Yeah, and they cut the program.
No.
Yeah.
We're going to have to bleep all these names out, but what?
So
Why you gonna bleep names?
You know who was Malone's only Pro Bowler? This year.
The cat that played for the Colts.
Ashton Doolin.
Yeah.
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 So when they put the Malone thing up there, that's the last time you'll ever see a professional football player from Malone.
Al Michaels said his name on Sunday Night Football. I almost texted you guys. I was like, did y'all just see the Malone University plug? I had to look him up to make sure it was that Malone University.
Well,
I didn't know.
Malone's
So Walsh
dead.
don't have a rival no more?
No, Walsh has to have a new rival, yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Wait,
and for
so
those of you that aren't
because of
listening in
money or
Northeast
what?
Ohio, you have no idea what we're talking about. But this is a big deal to me because I drive by that university almost every single day. So that's crazy. Whoa. Whoa.
That's crazy.
So now, but
R.I.P.
How
Malone
does a
football,
private
man.
College not have enough money for football.
But now they're a university. They've been a university. They're not Malone College. They're Malone University. They've been a they're buying all that land, all that land by that park.
Walsh is a private college.
They're both private. They're both private.
But they're both
Malone's
universities.
A Christian
Walsh
university.
has been a university
Walsh is
for
a
a long
Catholic
time.
university.
Yeah.
I think why they cut the program is because attendance was extremely low. No one went to the games, and they weren't successful. They really didn't win a lot of games.
Yeah, they really did.
They really weren't that good. And Division II football, unless you're playing teams like Slippery Rock and Mercyhurst and Wisconsin Whitewater and
Mount Union.
Mount Union.
Mount Union's Division III.
Why don't they go up? Why don't answer me that? Why don't they go up?
Because they're kicking ass in the
well,
division.
you also got to think about it.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, baby.
If Mount Union goes up, you lose the rivalries like Mount Union versus Denison or Mount Union versus John Carroll.
Well, you were the motherfucker that gave me a hypothetical league readjustment in the NFL, so you obviously don't give a shit about traditions. Listen to this.
Okay, yeah. So we had just the theoretical, let's fuck up the NFL and base it all off geography.
Because the divisions don't make sense to begin with.
Yeah.
You have the NFC East that has the Dallas Cowboys in it. Makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, no.
The AFC North, here's what I would do. Before James goes into his, if we're going to play this hypothetical game, because James is going to really fuck the league up. He's really about to fuck the league up. Here's what I would do. And this is off the top of the brain. I have nothing in front of me to tell me what the divisions are. Am I correct, Jeff? I have nothing.
Yeah,
okay. So the
magician?
the AFC East would have the New England Patriots, the Buffalo Bills, the New York Jets, and the Baltimore Ravens. The AFC North would have the Cleveland Browns, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Indianapolis Colts. The AFC South would have the Miami Dolphins, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Tennessee Titans, and the Houston Texans, and the AFC West would stay the same. Now, the NFC East, let me think for a second. I would have the New York Giants, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Washington Commanders, and the Carolina Panthers. Then I would have in the NFC South the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Atlanta Falcons, the New Orleans Saints, and the Dallas Cowboys. I keep the NFC West the same and the NFC North the same. That was the only readjustment I would do. I would make it geographically correct. Okay. Now, James is about to fuck the league up, folks.
So now that Joe is done being boring, I can get something fun. Okay, so, like, what he said made sense, and, like, he's going with the old traditions of the league and whatnot, so fuck
But that's
that.
what they're called, though.
So anyways, if you're not driving, I would love for you to pull up a map on your phone. Go to Apple Maps or Google Maps, whatever. And just pull up the United States and follow along with me. So we are going to start with the North Atlantic Division, which is going to be the Patriots, the Jets, the Giants, and the Eagles. All right, that makes sense. Then, and mind you, this isn't going to be perfect. There are still going to be some scattered teams, but it's going to make more sense.
Did you hear that, Jeff? The mixture, the Jets, the Giants.
The fact the Jets and the Giants aren't in the same division makes no fucking sense.
Should they be real quick? Should they be called the Jersey Jets and Giants because they play in New Jersey? I've always thought so. Why the fuck are they called New York?
If they're in the same division, they need their own stadium.
Well, what would they call the conferences? I asked him this earlier. Okay, let him finish his divisions. Let him finish his divisions.
So this would be the Northern Atlantic Division, right there.
It's kind of like hockey the way you have it set up.
Yeah, Patriots. So let me restate it. The Northern Atlantic, Patriots, Giants, Jets, Eagles. Then we're going to have the Mid-Atlantic Division, which is going to be the Ravens, the Commanders, the Panthers, and the Titans. Okay. And then we are going to have the Southern Atlantic Division, which is going to be all of Florida, so Dolphins, Jags, Bucks, and then we're going to throw in the Falcons. So then we're going to go over
Jeff nodded his head.
And we're going to have the Gulf Coast Division, okay? So that's going to be New Orleans, Houston, Dallas, and then we're going to have to throw in probably Arizona because there's going to be some casualties to where it doesn't make sense. What, Tennessee?
No. In the second to last. No, the Falcons.
Falcons?
Because he threw in...
Yeah, New Orleans, Houston, Dallas. They're in the Gulf. They're in the Gulf of Mexico. We're going by geography here. Okay. So yeah, New Orleans, Houston, Dallas, and then we'd have to do Arizona, which, you know, kind of sucks, but let me just keep going. We're going to work our way up north. This is my favorite division, the one that makes the most sense. The Great Lakes Division. Buffalo, Cleveland, Detroit, and Chicago.
Oh, I thought you were going with the other one that had...
Say it again. Buffalo, Cleveland.
Oh, wait. No, I fucked up. Sorry. Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Detroit.
Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Detroit.
It's the triangle.
I like that.
Great Lakes.
Dude, could you imagine playing Buffalo twice a year?
Like, if you look at the map,
those would be some big rivalries.
Think about the map, too, because if you look at the league, and the league's all about numbers, you get... you start getting Windsor in Ontario and Toronto involved into the NFL to where you can play games in Canada because, you know, Detroit's going to have fans in Windsor, Buffalo's going to have fans in Toronto, the Browns have fans everywhere, in Pittsburgh.
I love it. That's right, goddammit.
Here's the thing. You can throw
You're listening to Cleveland's Biggest Diehards, the podcast for diehard Cleveland professional sports fans. The camera is off and I'm still pointing to it because that's what the fuck I'm going to do.
We don't know.
You know what? You could switch it up for the Mid-Atlantic and throw Pittsburgh in instead of Tennessee and throw Tennessee in with the Gulf Coast.
Why isn't Pittsburgh with Philly?
Because Philly is in with the Northeast.
It's on the other side of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Right, but...
It would have made, geographically, if you really look at a map of Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania...
Where's Cincinnati placed?
Well, then...
With us.
No.
Right? No.
So we're gonna put Pittsburgh in to the Mid-Atlantic, okay?
Now you're playing conference.
Live. He's changing.
You're playing conference realignment already, and you haven't even set the conference up.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh
so
my
we're gonna
God.
move Pittsburgh
Folks,
to the
this was
Mid-Atlantic.
completely different at lunch when I was having a few Captain and Cokes today.
All right, we're moving Pittsburgh to the Mid-Atlantic. We're gonna put Tennessee in with the Gulf. Okay. So then we got.
Wait, what?
Just let me finish. So we got Buffalo.
We might as well keep it the way it is
We
if you're
got
gonna
Buffalo,
keep it this fucked up.
Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago. All right?
Buffalo, Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago. Why not? I like it better with Pittsburgh.
And then
Oh, he didn't even give a fuck. Okay,
got
go ahead. He didn't even care. Go ahead, man. Get your shit off. Go ahead.
And then we got the Midwest, which is just gonna be Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Kansas City, and oh no, it fucks it up. See, I already fucked it up.
Yeah, no, you fucked the league up already when you came up with this hypothetical. Mine makes sense. Yeah, I'm being boring.
Okay, you think of okay, mine makes sense until you start getting further
No,
out
you're
west
the
because no one
only
wants a
one
football
that-
team in fucking
The only
Omaha.
one that makes sense out of yours, is the Cleveland division, where you had Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and Detroit. That's the Bermuda Triangle of
I
Lake
like
Erie.
that,
You just
yeah.
call that the Lake Erie division.
Yeah. I like the Northeast too. That makes sense.
I mean, yeah, and then.
But the thing
But
is,
we
with the-
can't have you put your fingerprints on the rest of the league. We'll let the experts come up with that because that was just a bunch of gobbledygook horse shit that you came out of your
but
mouth.
you look at it in like Texas, Houston and Dallas are on the same side. There's no one in San Antonio. There's no one out in Laredo.
But why
There's
aren't-
nobody in New Mexico. There's only one team in Arizona.
The
There's a team in
Dolphins,
Vegas.
the Dolphins and the Jaguars should play each other.
Correct.
The Browns should be playing the Colts and the Bengals and the Steelers because it's the Central. You might as well not even call it the North. You could call it the Central Division if you want to rename it that because that's what it was back in the day before the Browns came back in '99. They were playing in the Central Division with the Houston Oilers, which never made sense, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Cincinnati Bengals because the Baltimore Ravens didn't exist.
No, they should make every team have to play each